I will raise up shepherds to look after them and pasture them. Aga m akwatakwara ha ndị nche atụrụ nke ga-elekọta ha anya nke ọma. He had pity on them. He was moved to compassion because they were like sheep without a shepherd. O nwere obi ebere n'ebe ha nọ n'ihi na ha dị ka atụrụ na-enweghị onye nche. Sheep, shepherd. Otito dịrị Jesu. Sheep without shepherds and sheep with bad shepherds. Which one, which group is better? Igwe atụrụ ga-enweghị onye nche. N'igwe atụrụ ọ bụ ndị ejọ mmadụ, ejọ ndị nche na-elete ole ka njọ. Izagburu ya ichekume. Leadership, shepherding, is a vocation, is a serious responsibility. And I would recommend to anybody and everybody who has any leadership position in the society or in the church, onye abụla onye isi, onye ndu, n'ụka, n'obodo, m'ịbụ nne, m'ịbụ nna, whether you are a father or a mother, headmaster or just teacher, class prefect or school rep, head of department, dean or vice chancellor, principal, president general of town union, local government chairman or councillor, a member of national or state house of assembly, governor or president, onye isi ndị nne ka ọ bụ onye isi ndị nna, onye isi ndị Sion ka ọ bụ onye isi ndị Legion ma ọ bụ charism, superior of community or superior general, whether you are a priest or a bishop or a pastor, man or woman of God, prophet or apostle, imam or Kadi, any leadership position you have in the society and in a religious group, try within this week, if not today, to read Ezekiel chapter 34. Ezekiel chapter 34. Even if you are not a Christian, it is easy to find it. The Bible is one of the easiest books to procure in the world now. If you don't want to buy the book, Google will give you Ezekiel chapter 34. If you read that chapter, you will realize that the position you are holding on trust for God. Very important position, no matter how little you think it is, or how lowly, or how humble, you are holding that position for God. It's a great honor, position of high responsibility, but one day you will give account. Jeremiah says in the reading we heard today, I will raise up shepherds to look after them and pasture them well. Why? He had said, woe, woe to you, shepherds, doom for the shepherds who allow the flock of my pasture to be destroyed and scattered. Parents, pay attention. Allow. You did not scatter the flock, but you allowed the flock to be scattered. Negligence. I think, let us tell ourselves the honest truth. Failure in the society, failure in the church is all about failure in leadership. It is inescapable. And if Jeremiah proclaimed doom, woe, twice in this chapter, on the pastors, that's shepherds, who allowed the flock to be scattered. You have let my flock to be scattered and to be wandering, and you have not taken care of them. Negligence. Ezekiel is even more severe, because Ezekiel is talking to shepherds who are wicked, not just negligent, wicked and exploiting the sheep without pasturing them. Everybody in a position of authority in society or in the church, all of us will always like to remind those whom we are supposed to be leading that they are bound to respect us and follow us, because all authority comes from God. Power belongs to God, and power comes from God, and all of us are in positions of power because God has ordained it. Sweet talk. And we say it more when you hear us repeating every power comes, even those who stole to be presidents, those who bribed their way into power, will always claim that all authority comes from God. So it is mainly when we are abusing our authority and our powers that we want to remind people that all authority comes from God. But it is true. Obez iking were abụghị nyeri onwe. But if you are exercising power in the name of God, exercising authority in the name of God, you are in a position of leadership. One, take responsibility if things go wrong. Accept you have failed when things go wrong. Two, know one day you will give account. But what happens? Beginning from the family. There are some children who can't sit quiet, and their parents are here. Catechist Purike. Church wardens Merike Azgahaz. They don't listen. Sorry. It has become the fault of the babies and children that they are not trained. That shifting of blame continues up to the bishops and presidents. I often hear complaints from my priests and the faithful about things not working in the diocese. The first reaction on the father, these priests don't listen to me. That first reaction. And father will tell me, they don't hear. Even seminarians, latter apostolic work, when I meet with them, they say, Father Bishop, the parish it is never our fault. It is always the fault of those who are supposed to be leading. You want, or you have accepted a position of responsibility as a leader, and you continue to offer excuses and blames on others when things go wrong. A friend of mine reminded me, look, leaders are meant to provide solutions, not excuses. That is the way it is. One governor was asked by a group of children visiting him, after all these years in government house, in authority, if you had the opportunity, what would you do differently? Our people are difficult to lead. The people don't listen. They don't want progress. You may have heard now that some people are planning protests in Nigeria because of hardship. Young people especially have been watching what is happening in Kenya and how the action in Kenya led some of the political leaders in Kenya to come out publicly and apologize, accept responsibility, and start doing certain things differently. But how is our government responding to it? This must be the plan of the opposition to undermine government. On our plan of opposition, opposition say opposition Mary Nihili anegoridi 100 naira now gabo 2,000. Was that caused by opposition? Was it the opposition that lowered minimum wage from $100 to $20? Was it the responsibility of the opposition? Those of us in places of authority and who occupy leadership positions, I would advise, I'm talking to myself. This is a loud soliloquy. Listen to the people and with a compassionate heart. Their complaint may not be correct, but the first question should be, what am I doing that is making these people complain like this? Where have I failed? Listen, you will not succeed 100%. Bishop, this is the fault of the bishop. It's the fault of the bishop. Find out why your priests, religious men and women, and the faithful are saying it is your fault. Find out why, instead of pushing it back to them. It's the fault of the VC. It's the fault of the dean. It's the fault of the HOD. It's the fault of the principal. It's the fault of our superior. Oh, Papa and Mama na cause. Find out why. Listen. Part of our problem is that we listen only to false prophets. In the second book of Kings, you'll find the experience, first book of Kings chapter 22, when King Ahab was to go to war. He called prophets to tell him whether he should go. They told him, oh God, go, you will defeat them in this war. Victory is yours. The king with whom he wanted to enter in alliance said, are they all? Said, oh, remaining one. But that one will always tell me what is not good. Said, let's listen to him. So they sent for Micah. And the prophet came and said, should I go to war or not go to war? The prophet said, you can go, you have won already. I said, tell me the truth. I see Israel scattered on the desert, on the mountain and in the desert, like sheep without a shepherd. 1 Kings chapter 22, verse 17. King Ton also and he continued. What I'm telling bishops like me, parish priests, men of God, women of God, prophets, chaplains or whatever they call themselves, directors of adoration ministries, presidents, governors, praise is deafening. Sycophancy kills a good conscience. They want your death. Their own good. Shepherds, whatever position you occupy, that is a position of leadership. It is a position of trust, great responsibility. And you have to discharge that responsibility with fear and trembling. But bear in mind, you are not indispensable. One day you will go. There was 1 year on the Lent by the Cathedral. And when Bishop Bishop Okubu was still strong enough to accompany me to Cathedraticum. So he would come, just sit at Mass, join us in our interaction after with priests, and he would eat with us and go. He did it for a number of years before he became too weak, even though he was already weak. One blessed year, I had a meeting, 2 meetings during Lent. Apart from the meeting of the bishops in Abuja, first week of Lent, the bishops went to Accra for another meeting, second week of Lent. And I went for another meeting in Rome, third week of Lent. Or how many weeks? Very few. And I had to do Cathedraticum. Some people suggested to me, join the deaneries, because you no longer have enough time for 13 Cathedraticums. 13 days. Egal. Others said, if you want to do 13, send people to represent you. And I remembered one bishop who told me, Bishop Godfrey, the people of God want to see their bishop. Please go. Always. Me sending delegates. Abiam one of the cathedraticums. 1 to every day. Bom nebi sit at home. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Or one day, one sister, Humagem no. After Mass, some Father Bishop, 9. Gonna marry Ijati Cathedraticum every day. Njakria. Sia. Onye bichor memble jilenke. What do you want me to do? That is how you people always criticize. Ogbam coach. Ngbogde go God bochar. Oton office Bishop Okubu. Some okwu ihe na-eme kita debere onye n'ọnọdụ a. I always thank that sister for that observation. You think you are indispensable. Madeleine Ibmuno can achọ Okubu. How many of you even know where he lives? But maybe when he was walking, in all honesty, he gave everything of himself. You are not indispensable. One is that whether you are doing well or not doing well, one day God will take charge. You are maltreating my people. Now, I will take charge of my people. You can't stop my project. I myself, in Jeremiah chapter 3, he says, I myself will point a shepherd for them after my heart. I will choose a shepherd. He also said it in Ezekiel chapter 34. You are not indispensable. And also because you are not indispensable, take out time. Take out time. Run away and be with the Lord. Alone. Come away for a while. There were so many people coming and going that they did not even have time to eat. Jesus said, no roge retreat. When we are in retreat, and the Father, we tell them, leave the parish for 1 week. Come, let us stay at the foot of the Lord. Listen to him in the presence of the Blessed Sacrament, helped by one of us who will remind us, perhaps, of what we already knew. Father Johnson Ozioko, who directed our retreat this year, told us plainly, don't listen to me. Listen to the Lord. Create time to be alone. But, ndo kama, uno marno werin the Father ga no bote magwayo. I'll give you a test without saying more. You need time to be alone. What if taking it 1 day in a month? Buy you my phone to go for the whole day. Can you do it? Obema kwago so ne frafo. Jor je meeting ja have problem. No mnete lata begu. Totor totor. Every oh my. Obru no we go nye kporgo. Ishi na Facebook. Egar na TikTok. Ishi na TikTok. Egar no opera. Ishi no opera. Egar na status in the WhatsApp. Ishi na battery na la. Data na bada. And you are getting nervous. You are not sleeping. You say magi he churugura. Obomo churugura. Inokwa. You are not indispensable. Come out. Come away. And rest. Sometimes when we are gathered as priests and I hear people's phones ring in the chapel, just like some of you here, when your phone rings in the cathedral now, who is that person whom we are expecting to talk to you, who is more important than the person you have come to encounter. We have lost the ability to be alone with the Lord. And also, sometimes we think that once we leave here, maybe. If I don't on a retreat, I call phone. That man in the roof church, he said he will come today. Our accident being where no some baby retreat and bang bang will continue. I once read that, and it is true, if we are too busy to allow strength to be renewed by withdrawal and rest, we are too busy to serve God with our best. If you can't rest, you can't give your best. And this rest has to be with the Lord. And if you allow me to propose, I'll propose that it will be daily. Make out time every day for quiet moments with God alone, who will speak to you in your conscience, will help you see what you are doing right and not doing right, and direct you what you will do better. If you do it few minutes every day, you can do it few days every year. Come and rest. But your rest is not an end in itself. You don't get such a sense of entitlement to rest that nothing bothers you when you are resting. Because as Jesus and his disciples went, people found them, followed them. He saw them, had pity on them. He was moved to compassion and he began to teach them. You know, that is the title I have given to the series of some of my homilies that are being published. Seeing them, he began to teach them. Ignorance is the first thing scattering the sheep of Christ. The people of God are running to various places, looking for information, looking for healing, looking for direction. And because they are not getting it, they are not resting. The sheep are scattered. They have been allowed to be scattered. And we complain now about many of our people, especially in the southeast, returning to idolatry. And I say, we Christian leaders, some of us have idolatrized Christianity, and that has made it easy for our Christians to return to idolatry. Anyị kpobeteri gọmanụka ije n'ọjụ ese iweta odo igbu ọkụkọ iweta ihe ọja abụ inye ndị mma ọ ga-emechi gị maọbụ mechi onye iro gị. These things we started doing them in the church, in the name of ministry, in the name of special apostolate, and having made Christianity look like a form of idolatry, it became easy for people to go back to where they came from. What they are seeing is no longer different from what they left. And they are scattered. But, truth be told, as the prophet Ezekiel points out, there's no guarantee that good leadership will make everybody follow. But you do your best. Like our Lord himself, the good shepherd. He said, they were yours in his prayer in John chapter 17. And you have given them to me. And I lost nothing of those you have given to me, except the one who chose to be lost. But you have done your best. The failure in our society today and in the church all boils down to leadership, to shepherds, good shepherds, after the mind of the Lord. And this should be our prayer. Lord, compassionate Lord, give us shepherds. Give us good shepherds in our families, in our society, in our communities, in our churches, in our nation. Give us good shepherds who will be compassionate, ready to make sacrifices for the people, ready to listen to their complaints, and find out how to do things differently in order to make their lives better. Those who will have compassion and lead the people aright through correct knowledge and proper action, right action. So on this day, as I said at the beginning of the Mass, since our mothers have made the effort to be with the Lord for some time, and the priests have also made the effort with their bishop to be with the Lord for some time, we are waiting for the fathers and the youths. When we make this effort to be with the Lord for some time, we ask to be renewed in our missionary zeal. And I beg that when we withdraw to encounter the Lord and be with him for some time, let us learn to switch off from the world and listen. Let us learn to talk less, make less noise. No man, crusades and revivals and vigils have become more important to some Catholics than retreats. The one is so emotional, the other one is deeply spiritual. Lord, compassionate Lord, give us good shepherds.